YesmeaCorgi. It's a great name. I love corgis. This is my first gunblade integration, if you could even call it that. Carbine sword maverick thing. Scope is from an old PlayStation game controller, stock from a Thermal Hunter, Nerf Vantage sword, and includes a Rebel Heartbreaker bow. PlayStation scope? I don't even know what those... To be honest, I do not know what a PlayStation scope looks like. I'm sorry, I jumped in when it was a PlayStation 2. That was my first gaming system. Well, something tells me this is exactly how gunblades should look.
Coming next, we have HW Studios saying this is a failed Reaper Hellfire shotgun. And I just want to say there's nothing wrong with failure. It's part of the process. It's part of learning. It's part of growing. So it's awesome that you submitted this. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with that failure element. You learn more from failures than you generally do from successes. So take this failure in your mind and learn from it. Grow from it. You will do better next time, and eventually I'm sure you'll figure out the right way to complete the project you want for this blaster.
Next, we have a mod from Srikrishna, or Srikrishna. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. This is pretty long, so I'm gonna read a bit. This was my third mod, if you can call it that, where I rolled up paper into tubes, wrapped electrical tape around them, then hot glued them to the sides to a Nerf persuader. The tubes can store darts, but the dart fit crushes darts if it's stored in there too long. I originally hot glued a clothespin to the side to clip in my pocket as a makeshift holster, but took it off. Dude, how did you manage to roll up paper tubes then wrap e-tape around it? Like, that's some pretty good skill there.
TheNerf Mechanics, introducing the greatest blaster of 2012, the Nerf Model 1. It's an elite night finder with a modulus barrel extension duct taped to the front and a blade builder's lightsaber piece as a bayonet underneath. The entire blaster is covered in duct tape and, well, it holds on tight. I tried to break it to get the night finder back, but it won't come off, so the barrel is stuck upright. I mean, you committed to the duct tape, so what, you think you can just get that barrel back? No, it's stuck like that forever. Now you just have to permanently angle your shot. That's what you get. If you didn't tell me there's a blaster underneath that, this probably is just duct tape. We do need to address the 250 Elite Dart Pack behind it. Why?
RQ, a mag-fed side strike with broken slide, so it's a string prime. The magazine system doesn't even work. Instead of using the pullback on the top, you pull it with a string. I've done that before with a couple of stuff way back when, so you're not too far off from, you know, where others have been doing this stuff. I don't know if it's worth to go in and try and fix the magazine loading system because I don't know if this project is worth your time. Yeah, paint job looks clean though, I'll give you that much. Nice try though.
JoNatEv Productions. I think that's how you pronounce it. This one is a Demolisher and Raven that I integrated terribly and tried to paint. But since the integration didn't go well and the paint didn't go well, I said screw it and covered the entire thing in duct tape. Yeah. Well, Sad Frog, do you have any thoughts on this one? Sad. This is sad. Maybe strip it and start over?
Iktomi, I made this about an hour before you posted your video and told my fiance how I wished you'd do a jank showcase part 2. This was the result of my nephew wanting to war but having no capable blasters. He wanted a shield but also a shotgun, so I combined the two, blue tape for +2 tactical jank. A Firefly 8-shot absolver. For a Gobzuka, I think that does sound okay though. I think the Gobzuka has enough air to do the job right there. Though I do want to know, is the Gobzuka removable or is it permanently attached to the shield? Because I could see that actually being kind of fun. Like you have the shield and you take the Gobzuka out and then or you just have it permanently attached and then block, block, block.
Okay, looking at Cairo Nerf. See, it appears to be a minimized night finder of some kind. This was not my first night finder mod, but it was my first CPVC coupler mod. I originally got the blaster thrifting, hence the writing on the blaster, and it appeared that a child had shoved a small plastic ball down one of the screw holes. I took all the other screws out and proceeded to rip the poor blaster apart. The coupler is secured using only original Gorilla Glue and E-tape, and the blaster works fine. Very effective way of doing it. It does eliminate all the nonsense on the front of the Night Finder. Makes it a very compact little guy there too. And if it's got a CPVC coupler on it, then you're set to go with all kinds of things. So it didn't say what kind of added spring or anything, but no, nice little toolless minimization it looks like. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh, this one is by Cool Coals Films. I made this because I was bored. 1/2 inch PVC epoxy to the plunger tube, screwed on Raider grip and stock spring. So it looks like you've also included a Smart AR. I can't tell you off the top of my head what that's from, but it looks like a 3-shot Smart AR, like triangle style. And that's so janky. I love it. You know, I wonder about the foregrip there, whether that's actually useful. It just, I mean, obviously it's got to be, like, you know, otherwise they probably wouldn't have put it there, but weird. That feels like it would be weird ergonomically, but, I mean, looks like fun.
From Greg, here is my janky marshmallow sniper. It has hot glue, rubber bands, and zip ties. It's all there in one wonderful janky package. The hopper can hold around 8 darts, and with the same number of pumps, you can hit some pretty good FPS. That is an interesting attachment method. If it works, it works. I love how there's just as much PVC on this as there is Marshmallow Blaster 2. Like, it's basically a 1-to-1 ratio. That's when you know you have modded it well enough, or the blaster just wasn't meant to be modded.
This one is from Helios, and they say, this is one of my first attempts at a paint job, and I had no idea what I was doing. I also engraved a mark on it with a knife. So, +1 for engraving your stuff with a knife. As for the paint job, I don't really have too good of an image here. I hope you clear coated it, because if not, it looks tacky. If you did clear coat it, good. For a first paint job, I mean, from the picture that I have, it looks fine. Just remember that sanding is your friend and cleaning really well is your friend. So go online, look up some painting tutorials, see what you can do to improve, but I mean, for a first attempt, it looks perfectly fine.
NPDE has an inverted Apollo without a grip. This is my janky Apollo mod. It has had a manufacturing flaw and wouldn't accept rival mags, so I cut off the handle and made a 6-round capacity hopper fed Apollo. To keep the rounds from falling out, I fixed a modulus rubber dart gate to the top of the hopper and called it a day. Using this ingenious method, you can shoot 2 at a time without putting one in the front of the gun. That's actually really clever, using the dart guide. Basically, the little rubber skirt that sits in front of the flywheels on stock flywheel blasters that keeps darts from kind of drifting forward and falling into the flywheels. That's pretty. That's actually a really clever idea. Otherwise, it appears to be stock. So I guess you're getting stock Apollo performance, but I'm curious as the hop-up being upside down, if that's going to make your rounds go and drop down real quick. But hey, it sounds like he's pretty happy with it, and it is rather compact, so that's pretty cool.
From Patty, the invention of this was a story, but just to wrap it up, I'm a dumb stuff scientist. Hey, let's attach my bullpup retaliator bit onto the front and see how it goes. And it didn't work because of the rev trigger, and the trigger had a long pull. Oh dear. Oh boy. This does bring back a memory from the first Show Me the Mods. Yo dog, I heard you like bullpups. So we put an extra trigger in front of your trigger so you can bullpup while you bullpup. It's bad. It's really bad. It sucks.
Sword of Six Sages. This is a failed project that I found in a corner where it belongs. Yeah. I've seen worse. Nice money logo. Probably not worth much though. I'd keep that one in the corner.
This one's by Hadez. This is the Yellow Duck. It's a minimized fire strike using a hacksaw and a hand drill. It has a new barrel that has been made to fit the plunger tube using E-tape and a spring upgrade with a cut-apart Rotofury spring. Yeah, I think I've got one of these laying around too. Is one of my first mods. Just chop the bottom off and put a tank spring in it, and And that's good for some great fun. Like early on in the hobby, that's like kind of a killer. The scope, that's gotta add range. It's gotta add something. Tactics.
From John, I found a jammed, slightly bent Rampage for $5 at Goodwill and decided to minimize it. I took a long shot priming bar and affixed it to the jam door and bolt sled using screws and hot glue. It works great, and I added a demolisher stock which also works as a tactical snack holder. Snack holder. I mean, I have to approve of that. Though it also looks like it could be something for a Nerf medic. Also, I approve of that. For $5. That's not too bad. Looks like a solid blaster for $5. I'd run it. And the snacks.
Next, we have a mod from Jayceand Marco. This is my Busby... Wait, I thought it was two people, Jayceand Marco, but my is a never mind. This is my Busby crossbow that I fused with an ion fire using hot glue. The grip, top rail, stock attachment point, and the piece holding onto the crossbow arms are all from the ion fire, the arm holder being the barrel attachment point, which in turn makes the system compatible with Nerf attachments and modular. All it needs is cosmetic work and internal upgrades. I don't know what to make of this because it looks pretty darn seamless if you ask me. Not as janky as I thought.
Moving on, we have Flygonial, who says this incorrectly named Jolt PDW uses 16mm OD PVC as a substitute barrel and foregrip, which is too loose of a dart fit, so I put electrical tape inside the barrel to make darts actually seal. Hot glue used everywhere, even ergonomically, rubber bands for more power that actually contribute nothing to performance, and a barrel that isn't even aligned correctly. It gets worse performance with full-length darts and stock performance with half-length darts. This is wonderful. Something about this is just so charming to me. What can we do to this Jolt? I don't know, we got some PVC. Is it the right fit? Not really, but let's just throw it on there. We'll fix it in post. Rubber bands will work, right? Yeah, maybe not really, but yeah, whatever. We'll throw it in there. More power. I just think this one's super fun, so a thumbs up from me.
Oh gosh, what on earth? From Gregory, this is Frank. Oh, hi Frank. Frank is the first full-auto flywheel, magazine-fed Maverick run on a 2S LiPo and gets about 85 to 110 FPS depending on darts. It uses stock motors, a stock Busby cyclonic cage, stock switches, and a hacked gearbox from a robotic arm I had years ago. Also a stock mount point and a full top rail. Mother of God. It's a whole other level wonderful monstrosities that hurts to look at, but you can't stop looking at it. I'm fascinated. It's beautiful, and it's hideous.
Oplenist. A terrible first attempt at modding a Busby Predator with an upgraded spring and internals. I don't know, it looks pretty clean to me. Is that a added dart holder on the side that looks like the little 4-round one that came with a little pistol thing? I can't recall offhand. Nice little minimization on the barrel. Nice little baloney cut on the end instead of just kind of hacking it off straight like a lot of people do. So that's kind of extra points right there. Otherwise, you have a very clean little blaster. And I mean, if you like the little bolt action deal, then right on. Looks like it's working for you.
Sniper Shot 120. This is a marshmallow blaster with a piece of PVC that came from an old Mythbusters set. Not even glued / epoxied in, but held in with friction and electrical tape. Surprisingly fires all right. Well, if it fires well, I mean, that's a good thing. I like how the blue sort of coordinates. That's interesting and good, I guess. And not adhering this in as long as it stays in with friction leaves you open to changing it up in the future. So I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing for this mod.
This one is by Meow121325. Nailed it. This is Siva Project, not 0.7. It's my first attempt at painting, and I plan on adding a Siva symbol as well as the Siva nodes connected to each other by red wire in the future. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what that is. Sorry, I got nothing. It's a nice Sweet Revenge / Sweet Destiny / 5x5 / however many other names this blaster has had over the years, and I still can't find them.
RandomKiddo. This is the Fallout reject. It's basically a jolt with a flashlight attached. I tried using string, but the flashlight came off, so I used a pipe cleaner and it still works. So, a paint job I see kind of fading with the bright orange pipe cleaner, holding a large flashlight on top, and then a beautiful baby blue bow tie to tie it all together. I don't see anything wrong here. It's beautiful.
Next on the list is Lithunderbolt 1003. They said, this is my first attempt at painting a hammer shot. Paint is okay and now only shoots 20 feet. I removed the posts and the AR and the cylinder no longer rotates because I lost the spring. This seems like one of those learning projects to me. You probably gained a good amount of knowledge from this. The fact that you need to be able to keep track of all the springs and internals and little bits, which we've all lost. I recently have lost some and it's definitely frustrating, but hopefully you can find your parts and learn a little bit from your painting and what may be impacting the performance so you can improve it next time instead of potentially hampering it.
Here we have a mod from Steveroni. Steveroni? I don't know if I'm supposed to pronounce the second E. Anyway, this is my first mod. It is an X shot with cardboard around it to make it a sword gun. I call it Lil Janko. It's janky. It's janky.
This module list is from Gavin and it has no description. From the looks of it, really, I just finish it. That's really all I can say about it, is just finish it. But I will say a little tip for all of you people who like your modules but want it to be full auto. If you cut off the gray area inside the right part of the shell, you can take a rapid strike pusher. If you flip it onto its side, it will fit into that side of the shell perfectly with no part of it going into the left side of the shell, so you can put all the wires and stuff in there. So if you want a full auto modulus, it's not too hard to do. For Gavin, finish your thing, and yeah, good luck.
From Wade, my first attempt at making a shotgun primed Baron. It is so blah that I decided to go in a different direction. Actually, pretty clean for what it is. I do like the Baron, and so long as that isn't cutting into your hand, with those screws, and everything else looks smooth, so I mean, you say it's blah. Blah can be practical, or comfortable.
TX7823, who said, this is my bolt action retaliator, WikiHow prevails. I actually really like this. Bolt action is something that I see some people at our fields use, and if you can get it right, it's definitely cool and has a nice feel to it, kind of that, sniper feel kind of thing going on. So I definitely dig the way you did this. It's kind of raised up and a little bit easier to grab onto, it looks like. So kudos on that idea and your implementation of it.
Following that, we have a mod from Tacti-fool. This is a creation made with a broken Caliban and a drain blaster. It is held together with the original priming bars, half-inch conduit, and Gorilla Tape, and can hit targets with accurate 300 PFS, give or take, shots. Albeit it has no scope to go with the cheek rest currently. This monster was born from my Caliban breaking and the lack of desire to wait for new ordered parts. That's a very beautiful barrel. Let's just call it a Calibarrel. I got that Scar one coming though.
This one is from MynameisntQuinoa, or is it Quinoa? Whatever. I originally had this with the Cyclone shotgun cylinder, but wanted more power, hence the cuts to the muzzle. Made my own worker inserts using CPVC and some other tube that nested perfectly inside the cylinder. No electrical tape needed. Small detailed duct tape on the cylinders to indicate if the cylinder has cycled or not, as the Cyclone Shock's rotation mech is unreliable. I totally get wanting more power and not wanting to buy things from a parts manufacturer so you can save some money. And it looks like you found some stuff that fitted in there pretty good. Hopefully it didn't cost you too much. You could actually lengthen the barrels for the next time you do it, but looks pretty good. I like the simplicity of the tape to indicate the rotation. I would also put some epoxy putty up in that cut just to smooth it out and make it look a bit better. Good job, dude.
From Duncan, I'm not even sure if I can call this one a mod. It's a wrist-mounted flywheel case that you just feed the dart in manually. Yup, that's a doorbell. Ding dong. It sucks. Okay, not actually. Like, I have seen some other versions of like the wrist-mounted flywheel cage where you just, or flywheel cage gauntlet, I don't even know what to call it, but where you just push a dart into it. But I will say that the doorbell is different as the rev mechanism. You're right, the doorbell does sell it. Maybe it doesn't suck.
Lavender Fox. This is my Kronos rifle. I taped an Alpha Hawk stock and snipe barrel to it and attached a Tommy 20 front end to the snipe barrel. No internal mods right now. Well, I have no words. No words. Sad Frog, do you have any words? Speechless.
Rouge Pilot, my first mod, a drop clip strong arm with a turret, whatever it's called, that has drilled out dark posts. Used a hacksaw, Gorilla Glue, and cardboard. I took the turret thing out of my other strong arm to get a quick reload system. Nice, so you got the little, the extended drop on the front end, and appears to be kind of the similar, kind of ejection assist that I designed on mine. So that's kind of cool if that's what it is, and if not, that's still cool too. There's a market out there, not a market necessarily, but there is a need out there for drop clip strong arms and stuff like that, like the old Mavericks and stuff like that. So it's still a very viable little blaster. So it's cool to see that kind of thing still being revisited, even in this much different modding atmosphere and environment that we have these days. So that's actually really, really cool. Kind of a memory flogger there.
This is a modulus by TheChemist. It's got a paracord sling with removed locks and missing mag release. Tried painting it with enamel paint but didn't like it. Tried removing it, got lazy and didn't finish. Hot glue stock for more grip and hot glue popsicle sticks for more stability.
And that's going to do it for Show Us the Mods. But before we go, let's hear from our wonderful review co-host and hear what they have to say about your wonderful hard work.
So final comments on my reviewing experience. I thought there was going to be more jank. I expected more jank. Some of these builds look fine. Some of them are really nice, like that Demolisher Maverick thing, which I think could go with a really good paint job. But I think the overall clear winner in my list of stuff goes to Taco Shadow Taco Cat for the beautiful, I don't know what adjective to use to describe it, pump action recon. Just so good, and I would love to see a video of it in action if it doesn't break itself somehow. But I love it. It's the right amount of jank, and yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but nice job to everyone. I also like the duct tape Nerf Jaeger one. It's pretty good. But yeah, overall, I am pleasantly surprised. More jank next time.
I definitely had a good time checking all these mods out. It's definitely a fun time to see what people are up to and what people are doing. I think it's awesome that Beret is taking the time to share all of these with everyone, because it's a really cool thing to kind of be able to feature so many people doing so many things, whether they're at the top of their game or they're just learning. There's so much in this hobby in terms of ways to grow and things to learn. So wherever you're at in your personal growth in terms of modding, don't get discouraged. Whether you fail, whether you succeed, enjoy it, continue to learn, and continue to do things that you enjoy doing.
Thank you for showing me all these mods. This was a pretty interesting experience, and some of you really need to upgrade your cameras, like we're in an age where cameras are pretty good on smartphones, and you actually have the ability to mod pretty well. So, just get something a little bit better so that you could really capture a nice picture of your mod. I am really surprised at the level of jankiness there is nowadays. I used to think that back then was the golden era of janky mods, but this has blown all of that out of the water. Good job to all of you. Keep the jank alive. Peace.
So thank you all for submitting your mods, and thank you, Bret, for including me in this. I had a lot of fun. I kind of expected everything to be horrible monstrosities made out of hot glue and tears, but no, it was just that one guy. So yeah. I wasn't wearing pants this whole time.
Well, we certainly saw some interesting things today, and we saw some good stuff. So it's kind of surprising. I mean, you never really know what you're going to get when you get especially janky submissions, and so it's actually been cool. There's been some kind of cool stuff we saw today. Thanks, Bret, for having me on. We'll see you next time.
Well, this has been fun, guys. Thank you so much for showing us your mods, and thank you, Beret, for having me on your channel. Greatly appreciated. You guys, if I have any suggestions for you, it's practice makes perfect, so keep modding.
So thank you everyone for watching, and of course a huge thank you to my co-reviewers for putting the time and effort to review these wonderful mods. I will link all of their information down in the description box below. You should, of course, if you have not already for some reason, check out their channels because they do unique mods, and so they have good experience on this, some ranging back since even before I got in the hobby. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you later.